fact, they did what? Your source of the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, I'm going to go over a story titled, Am I the A-hole for tricking my sister-in-law into stealing our baby name? And a shout out to Evan for sending me this story. And guys, this story is a little different than I'm used to covering, but it's really funny and really gives an example of what I talk about so often, about how crazy competitive, and not to mention petty, some gals can be towards each other. And how women, regardless of what they say, can't help themselves but let themselves be wrapped up in the drama. This is about a gal who's telling the story here, who's 33, married for 5 years, good marriage, good life, has a daughter, but her sister-in-law, her husband's sister, has always been crazy jealous of her, and always petty and making comments, drama central, which this woman still allows in her life. And lately, and they're both pregnant, and she strongly suspects that the sister-in-law wants to take the baby name just to one-up her, something like that. And how this sister in here plays the ultimate practical joke on her. And again, that'd be a pretty entertaining one to go over here, just again to show you just the level of jealousy and how petty some gals can be with each other, how competitive. It's just ridiculous. And sometimes it's even worse when it comes in families. So it starts off, says here, so I, a 33-year-old female, have been married to my husband, Kevin, a 35-year-old male, for 5 years. We have a 3-year-old daughter together, and I'm currently pregnant with twins, a male and a female. My brother-in-law, Terrence, who's 38, has been married to his wife, Jess, a 39-year-old female, for 7 years. Jessa, short for Jessica. Jess and I are total opposites. Jess is an extrovert. She's kind of loud, boisterous, and some would even say abrasive. Okay, so she's an obnoxious a-hole. I'm an introvert. I'm not quiet or shy, but I'm reserved. I'm also very observant. The first time I met Jess, I told Kevin that we would be like oil and water. We have never been overly hostile towards each other, but also have never gone out of our way to bond. Okay, in other words, yeah, they're not overly hostile, but it's just petty back and forth BS. Unfortunately, Terrence and Jess had fertility issues for several years before finally having their son a couple weeks ago. Prior to this, Jess was very odd towards us when I was pregnant with our daughter. Well, because she has fertility issues and she couldn't have a kid. So she's going to be jealous and hate on you because you could have what she didn't. Period. And there's more things to that. Maybe that's nature's way of saying this woman shouldn't breed. I don't know. The best way to describe it is hot and cold. 1 minute, she pretended like she didn't care while we were talking about it at family gatherings. The next, she was volunteering to throw the baby shower, and I gave a firm no to that. We both assumed the behavior was because of the fertility issues and didn't think too much of it. No, because she's jealous of you, and we're going to find out as the story goes on a number of different reasons that she's jealous of this woman telling the story here. But the strangest thing she did was almost demand to know what we were naming our daughter before we announced it. She asked us constantly after our gender reveal and got visibly annoyed when we just laughed her off and said it was a secret. See what she just said there? The gender reveal. Sounds like they were having one of these ridiculous gender reveal parties. That got all big years ago. First, it was celebrities doing that. And then common folks want to be like celebrities. They're having these gender reveal parties where, like, you know, at the big announcement, all of a sudden, like, blue streamers will go off because it's a boy, or pink streamers will go off if it's a girl. That nonsense. We couldn't understand why the hell she cared so much, as she was not expecting at this time. Regardless, we didn't share the name with anyone. It's nobody's business. Why do you think she wants the baby name? Let's think about this here. When our daughter was born and her name was finally announced, Jess was kind of obsessed with it. I don't know how to explain it. She just kept going on and on about how beautiful and unique it was. To this day, she comments about how different it is. The name we chose is a pretty common Welsh name, which wouldn't be all that different except for the fact that we're African American. LOL. I've always gravitated towards names from different regions and found and fell in love with the name years ago, and never shared it with anyone prior to Kevin. Fast forward to both of us being pregnant at the same time. Her odd behavior continued towards me, but this time it was more blatant. Snarky comments under the guise of jokes about how big I was going to get with 2 babies and that my body would never snap back like it did after our daughter. Snarky comments, huh? You see, if this is the crap that happens with women. Instead of just like, if you had two guys in a family and one was clearly jealous of the other and one was making rude comments, there'd be a fist fight real soon. Or there'd be a confrontation. And that bullshit would be put to rest right away, most of the time. You get two gals together, the likelihood is there's going to be no cat fight. It's just going to be tit for tat drama. It's ridiculous. Because that's just how they operate. And at the end of the day, it boils down to, well, if there's drama, there's entertainment. If there's entertainment, well, I need the entertainment because I'm bored. And I can gossip about something with my girlfriends. Well, it says here, she even accused us of getting pregnant on purpose after she announced her own pregnancy, even though the whole family knew we were actively trying at the same time of her announcement. I was already a few weeks along and didn't know. Accused you of getting pregnant because at the same time just to steal her thunder? One thing about me, introvert or not, I'm not a pushover and will stand up for myself. Well, it doesn't sound like you are, actually. But I chose to ignore Jess because I knew that would get to her even more than confronting her would, since she seems to thrive off drama. Well, maybe she does. But at the end of the day, now you just have this continuing drama. You have one big drama, and then it could end somewhat. Or you don't have anything guys, life is too short to deal with this crap. You got an a-hole family member, you tell them off, you tell them where to go. Or in that case, if it gets too bad, you clock them upside the head, if you're a guy. And you have nothing to do with them. Who cares if they're family? But that's just me. It says here, Jess was obviously much further along in her pregnancy than I am. However, we did have our gender reveal party prior to Jess giving birth. Oh, for God's sakes. And right on cue, the baby name interrogation started once again. Because they had not decided to find out the gender of their baby in advance. Jess kept hounding us for both the names, and we had already picked out. But again, we declined to answer. It's none of your fucking business. Where's your husband here? Where's your husband standing up to his sister? Or is he just a little shrinking violet? After days of this, I got annoyed and asked Kevin if he thought the reason for her insistence was so she could use the name first since she was due first. Duh, you think? That's exactly what she wants to do. You tell her the baby name, she gives birth first, and then she names her kid the name that you had to one-up you. Petty shit like that. You want someone like this in your life, really? He kind of chuckled until he realized I was serious and said he didn't think so, but that anything was possible. Smack! Kevin, pull your head out of your ass. That's exactly what your sister's doing. So I said, let's test it out. We were due to host my father-in-law's birthday at our house a couple weeks later, and I decided to leave something in the unfinished nursery with a girl and boy name on it and see if Jess went snooping. Ooh, this is clever. Because Kevin thought it was silly, he said he would give me $20 if she did it. Kevin, you're a fucking dumbass. And you know what, this girl telling this story, she should have bet $1,000. $1,000 cash. She could buy herself some shoes. Because, of course, the sister-in-law is going to fall for this. So I went on some site where you can order custom name wall decors and put the names on them. I put the names Aria Rose and Sebastian Ali. These are names that we like but aren't remotely close to what we chose. This will also be our last pregnancy, so our last pregnancy? No, you're pregnant, not your husband. So even if Jess did use them, we wouldn't care. I didn't complete the order. I got to the final page, then printed it out and hid it in the dresser drawer along the nursery. Okay, so it's in the nursery, but in the drawer. So this chick not only has to go in the nursery to look around at things, but actually has to open drawers and snoop. She gets what she deserves. So the party goes off, but because we're busy hosting, we never noticed if Jess disappeared for any extended period of time. When I went into the nursery the next morning, nothing was out of place, and the order sheet was still in the exact location. So we just went whelp and forgot about it. I did, however, notice that Jess never asked us about the names again. Aha! Well, that's not an accident. Fast forward in time, Jess gives birth. We went to the hospital to give our congratulations, and we go to see the baby. I asked what the name was, and man, I cannot properly explain the shit-eating grin that came over Jess's face as she says, wait for it, Sebastian Ali. And you just won $20, and you should have bet him $1,000. That a-hole went in there snooping around and saw your thing and named the kid to steal that from you. Again, why do you keep this chick in your life? Who cares that she's the sister of your husband? But your husband's too much of an idiot and a pussy to stand up to her. I mean, she was really proud of herself, and honestly, in the most vindictive I've ever seen in the years I've known her. Well, she's in for a surprise when she finds out this was a big trick. This is hilarious. Instead of reacting in the way she was expecting, I put on a performance like I had graduated from Juilliard. OMG, that's such a great name, I said. He's so cute, look at his little little face. Oh, I just love him so much. Welcome to the world, Sebastian. Auntie is going to spoil you rotten. I mean, I'm laying it on thick without an ounce of bother. The range of emotions on Jess's face went from shock to confusion to rage in a span of maybe 17 seconds. Could happen to a nicer girl. By the way, guys, bear with me here. It's raining. Yeah, rain in South Florida in late October. Who guessed? But anyhow, show must go on. Meanwhile, my husband is holding in the laugh of the century. We later on say our goodbyes, and he gives me $20 in the elevator while almost crying with laughter. All I could say was, like I thought. Yeah, you should have bet $1,000. He actually thought his sister wouldn't do that. Maybe he was giving her the benefit of the doubt, but given her behavior over the years, he ought to know. That's hilarious. This was 2 weeks ago, and we haven't seen them since, because we wanted to give them a little time to settle in with a new baby. Yeah, baby Sebastian. I've heard from my mother-in-law that Jess doesn't seem as thrilled about motherhood as she thought she would, considering how long it took her to conceive. But said it might be the baby blues. Well, it's probably that, and also the fact that it sounded like she wanted to have the kid more just to be competitive with the girl telling the story here. I think she's just disappointed that her petty move didn't have the desired effect on us. I did share this with my sister, and while she laughed initially, she did say I was kind of the a-hole to do this. So am I the a-hole? No, not at all. The only reason you're the a-hole, in my opinion, is you put up with this crap for so long. I know you say you don't want to give her drama, but you know what? You have one drama and that's it. She's been pulling BS all these years, and your husband doesn't say anything to her? Really? I mean, he needs to grow a fucking pair. But for God's sakes, unless, guess what? You like the drama. And I'm convinced that this woman here likes to keep it going. That way she has stories to tell and tell her friends about her wacko sister-in-law. This could have been dealt with pretty quickly. But it is what it is. That's what they do. Now we're going to go on an update at how this situation is playing out here. But this is funny as hell. No, she wasn't the a-hole for doing that. That sister-in-law is an a-hole, and she tricked her. I mean, think about it, guys. If she genuinely wanted to name their child Sebastian Ali, and then finds out that the sister-in-law stole it, I mean, that's just terrible, but nobody's surprised. It backfired on her. I think it's hilarious. Now the update. She says, hey, y'all. Thank you for the responses to my original post. The comments were funnier than I was expecting and kept me and my husband pretty entertained. I tried to respond to as many as I could before they got away from me. I've gotten some messages asking for an update, but nothing major has really happened. Jess didn't break into my house to push me down the stairs and steal my kid. I did get some additional info, though, that I can pass along here. Before I get into that, I wanted to give a little context about my relationship with Jess to explain why I did what I did. Feel free to skip past it. So now she's going to go into some history, more clues as to why Jess is the way she is, and blah, blah, blah. And this won't surprise any of you. How petty people can be, how competitive women can be with each other. She says, to put it plainly, Jess and I have been in a one-sided beef since the day Kevin and I started dating. Kevin's her husband, and Jess is the sister of Kevin. I gave her zero thought if I didn't have to yet. I live rent-free in her mind. Based on snide comments she's made over the years, the reason why is jealousy. Kevin and I dated for only a year before we got engaged. Smack to Kevin. Dated a year and you got engaged? Kevin, what the fuck's the matter with you? We were then married within 6 months of that engagement. Smack again to Kevin, what the hell's the matter with you? Well, fortunately, it's worked out so far. We had an actual wedding with a ceremony and reception, went on a honeymoon, bought a house in the burbs, and it got pregnant in rapid succession. No, you got pregnant, not Kevin. Both of us have good careers and are financially stable. My mother-in-law, father-in-law, and grandmother-in-law all adore me. There's a churchy reason behind that, which I will spare you. Jess and Terrence did not have the similar path. They had been on again, off again since they were 19 and 20 years old. Terrence never really wanted to commit to her. Well, there's a surprise. During one of their breakups, Terrence got friends with benefits pregnant, and now has an 11-year-old son. This has always been a sore subject with Jess due to her fertility struggles. When they finally got back together, she pressed him for marriage and until he relented and gave her a shut-up ring. So listen to that. Both of their origins with their husbands completely different. The girl telling the story, engaged within a year, dumb, but it is what it is. Got married 6 months after, again, dumb, it is what it is. Financially stable, all that. These two, nope. We're not done yet. They went to the courthouse on a random Tuesday, then they had a dinner at Red Lobster afterwards and went back to work the next day. So she went to the courthouse and had their reception at Red Lobster, and the girl telling the story, married in a church, big party, all that. Also, not trying to be shady, just relaying the facts. They now live in a 2-bedroom apartment in a HCOL city while working hourly jobs. They aren't minimum wage or anything, but constantly need overtime to make ends meet. Again, and the girl telling this story and her husband have actual pretty darn good careers, financially stable, but these two, sounds like money's pretty tight. That can happen to plenty of people out there, but still, put it all together, this is what it's all about, jealousy. And it's a shame, but that happens all the time and with families. She's just said the quiet part out loud and revealed what I already knew. So I poked her a little bit and said, really, which one? It's kind of gross. Oh, I missed a part. Missed a part, guys. Sorry about that. This has led for her to resent me over the years. She thinks everything has come easily to me and let that fester. There were times a few years ago at a gathering where she got drunk and got into an argument with Terrence. I think her attitude that night stemmed from seeing me with my infant daughter. To hurt him, she blurted out that she married the wrong brother. Everyone was shocked as I was. I was not. Again, more BS. She said the quiet part out loud and revealed what I already knew. So I poked her a little and said, really, which one? That's kind of gross since both were minors when you met them. Context, Kevin and Terrence have a younger brother, Tim, who's 28. Boy, did she fly off the handle after that. To this day, she claims to have no memory of that night. Anyway, now I know there's a new reason why she resents me. So there you go. Jealousy. Always boils down to jealousy. Now the update. She says, like I said, nothing has really happened since I last posted. I haven't seen or heard from Jess since the day in the hospital. Terrence also hasn't communicated much with Kevin other than sports talk. However, my mother-in-law has been with me almost every day. She came over yesterday to go over some last-minute things for our baby shower and that we are having this Saturday after Halloween. I'm not due till late January, but with the holidays and twins tending to arrive early, we just wanted to get it out of the way. Anyway, after finalizing some things, I asked my mother-in-law how Terrence and Jess were doing. She sighed and leaned back in the chair and said, girl, it's a mess. She goes on a long word vomit that I will have to summarize. Basically, they've been at it since the birth of the baby. When they were discussing names, Jess' list only consisted of girls' names. When Terrence asked if it was a boy, Jess was adamant that it wouldn't be. But if it was, they would just use Terrence Jr. That caused an argument because Terrence's 11-year-old boy is not named after him, and we petty to name the second son Jr. Drama with these people. Unbeknownst to me, Jess was having severe anxiety over not the name, but the gender of the baby. So much so that she refused to find out early because she was afraid of disappointment, and she wanted to enjoy her pregnancy, believing she was having a girl. She really wanted a girl. I mean, really did. This goes back to mother-in-law, in my opinion. Mother-in-law is the only girl of 4 brothers. She had 3 boys. 2 of her 3 boys, Tim has a 6-year-old boy. Okay, so it's a giant family full of boys. Sounds like my family. Then my daughter came along. Mother-in-law actually broke down in tears at our gender reveal. Since the day she was born, mother-in-law has become a little obsessed with her. Not in a JNMIL way. She knows and respects boundaries. But the whole family is aware that my daughter is mother-in-law's favorite person in the world. I think Jess thought that by having a girl, she would get some of that attention and affection from the mother-in-law, as she has never been Jess's biggest fan. Well, gee, I wonder why she's not Jess's biggest fan, because she's an asshole. When that didn't happen, something short-circuited in her head. Mother-in-law's words, not mine. Before we arrived at the hospital that day, they were still fighting over a name. So I guess when I showed up, she just blurted it out. While I still think it was to hurt me, it seems like it was also because she didn't allow herself to think of anything else because she didn't want a boy. I said in the first post how I noticed her expression, however, completely failed to notice Terrence's. Yes, she did do it to hurt you. Come on here. Don't be naive. He was pissed off, and Jess had never mentioned that name to him prior, and he had no clue where it even came from. He also hated it. He refused to sign off on that, and they left the hospital with no name. Leave the hospital, baby has no name? Okay, people do that with dogs and cats when they pick them up at the animal shelter and all that. Usually the dog or cat will have a name that the people that was carrying the animal shelter had for the pet, and they go home and they usually change the name, usually pretty quickly, but not a baby. In our state, you have only 7 days from birth to register a name. She eventually told Terrence to pick the name himself, and she didn't care anymore. So he did. He swapped out Sebastian for Jordan, but kept Ali. And she says yes, after Michael and Muhammad Ali. According to mother-in-law, since they've been home, Jess has shut down emotionally. She's been doing all the motherly things, but there is a disconnect there. Mother-in-law said that she finally broke down to her a few nights ago, and she'll likely never have a daughter due to her age and what it took to get pregnant in the first place. I think that will bring them closer together, since mother-in-law never got the daughter she wanted either. I also felt bad hearing that, regardless of how I felt about her as a person. I do have a heart and would never want to punch down on her if she's in throes of PPD. I don't know. Sounds like Jess deserves it. I feel bad for that kid because the mom's a wacko and an asshole. She's a wacko and an asshole. A wackhole. But, and that kid's going to grow up knowing through her actions that she didn't want him. Jess still hasn't admitted to snooping. So I haven't admitted to setting her up. A few comments said I should never confess, but I think I will at some point, mainly because I don't care. I'm more than willing to burn a bridge while I'm still standing on it, but now simply is not the time. So that's it. That's the lackluster update. Jess is invited to my baby shower, so I might be back in a couple weeks, depending on how that shakes out. So notice she said here that I think I'm going to confess it anyway, and I don't care anymore, blah, 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 blah. Why? Drama. Come on here. She wants the drama. All women like drama. Either they're right in the thick of it, like this, or they can hear about it from their friends' gossip or watch it on these dumbass shows that it's all, set up anyway. Right here. No need to mention it. Believe me, that Jess girl knows what she did. But regardless, drama, drama, drama. So anyhow, guys, it's a different one, but that was pretty funny when I read this morning while having my coffee, my big cat sitting on my lap. But, yeah, it's amazing. So, guys, remember this. If you have a girlfriend and there's this type of crap going on with one of her sisters, one of her friends, or your girlfriend or wife with one of your siblings, I recommend you jump in. I recommend you have a pair. And, yes, it is your business because you don't need to be caught up in this drama and settle it once and for all. That you're not going to tolerate this crap because leave it to the women. They'll keep this shit going on for decades. Kid you not. And I guarantee this is going to continue on for decades. It's funny. The gal in this story, she sounds like she has it together and it's, but still this is from her side of the story. But my God. But again, then the jealousy. It goes to a whole new level of competition with his girls. And in the same family. Good God. So it's ridiculous, but it is what it is. Alright guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.